You don't feel it yet. That's the problem. Most people don't realize their life is already over. Not because they failed, but because they never noticed when they stopped choosing. Right now, you think you still have time. That thought alone has ruined more lives than failure ever did. You wake up, you scroll, you distract yourself. You tell yourself later. Later to start. Later to change. Later to take yourself seriously. And every day you repeat that lie, your nervous system learns something dangerous, that nothing bad happens when you delay your own life. That's how people rot without realizing it. No explosion, no collapse. Just slow psychological decay. You don't lose motivation, you lose urgency. And once urgency dies, discipline doesn't even stand a chance. Here's what nobody tells you about comfort. It doesn't make you happy. It makes you quiet. Quiet enough to tolerate a life you secretly hate. Your brain adapts fast, faster than you think. It adapts to disappointment. It adapts to boredom. It adapts to mediocrity. And once adaptation happens, pain stops screaming. It whispers. That's when it becomes lethal. Because screaming pain forces change. Whispering pain becomes identity. Look at your habits. They aren't random. They're self-soothing rituals designed to keep you numb. Scrolling, binge-watching, porn, overeating, overthinking, daydreaming about a future you never move toward. These aren't pleasures. They're sedatives. You don't use them because you're weak. You use them because your mind is exhausted from avoiding a truth you don't want to face. The truth is this. You know exactly what you should be doing, and you're not doing it. That gap between knowing and acting is where self-respect goes to die. Every time you avoid action, you teach your brain one thing. I don't trust myself. And once self-trust collapses, confidence becomes fake, motivation becomes forced, and discipline feels impossible. This is why you feel angry for no clear reason, irritated, restless, empty. That anger isn't random. It's self-betrayal trying to get your attention. But instead of listening, you mute it. You distract. You rationalize. You blame circumstances. You wait for motivation. Motivation never comes to people who keep breaking promises to themselves. Your brain isn't stupid. It's watching you. Every goal you abandon, every routine you quit, every excuse you repeat, your mind records it. Eventually, it stops believing anything you think. That's when people say, I just don't feel like myself anymore. No. You feel exactly like someone who doesn't trust their own word. Now let me say something uncomfortable. Most people don't fail because life is hard. They fail because nobody ever forced them to confront themselves. So let me do that for a moment. If nothing changes in your behavior, not your thoughts, not your intentions, but your actions, your future is already predictable. Same income level, same frustrations, same complaints, same coping habits, different year, same regret. And here's the darkest part. Your brain will slowly rewrite the story so it doesn't hurt as much. You'll call it being realistic. You'll say things like, that's just how life is. Not everyone gets to win. I'm content. That's not acceptance. That's surrender disguised as maturity. You weren't meant to feel calm while wasting your potential. That calm is artificial. It's psychological anesthesia. And the world loves anesthetized people. They don't ask dangerous questions. They don't disrupt systems. They don't demand more from themselves. They consume. They comply. They cope. Anger, real anger, is actually healthy. It's your nervous system saying, this isn't right. But society teaches you to suppress it, to medicate it, to joke about it, to scroll past it. Because angry people change things. Numb people don't. So if you feel tension right now, good. That means something in you is still alive. That tension is the part of you that refuses to die quietly. But tension alone isn't enough. Here's the hard truth. Awareness without action becomes another form of self-deception. You can watch content like this for years. Feel inspired, feel exposed, feel attacked, and still change nothing. That's how people turn insight into entertainment, and entertainment into another escape. If you walk away from this and go back to your old patterns, your mind will mark this moment as proof. Even when I see the truth, I don't act. That realization hurts more than ignorance. So ask yourself something. Honestly, what are you avoiding because you know it will change how you see yourself? Because once you act, you can't pretend anymore. Once you try, you can't hide behind potential. Once you commit, your excuses die. And that's what you're really afraid of. Not failure, responsibility. Responsibility means your life is no longer accidental, and accidental lives are comfortable. Directed lives are demanding. But here's the final thing you need to understand before it's too late. Time doesn't warn you. It doesn't tap you on the shoulder. It doesn't announce the last chance. One day, the energy you feel now will be gone. Not dramatically, just quietly. And you'll trade dreams for explanations. If this made you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the last signal before resignation. Don't calm it down. Don't intellectualize it. Don't scroll it away. Do something that proves to yourself that you still mean what you think. Because once you stop proving it, your mind will stop believing it. And that's when it really becomes too late. You think too late is a moment, a date on the calendar, a dramatic realization. It's not. Too late is a process. It starts the first time you feel the pull to act and choose comfort instead. Nothing explodes. Nothing collapses. Your brain simply makes a note. This wasn't important. That note compounds. You don't notice it at first, but slowly your standards drop. What once felt unacceptable becomes normal. What once scared you becomes familiar. This is how people lose ambition without realizing it. Not by quitting, by adjusting expectations downward. Pay attention to the lies your mind uses to protect you. At least, I'm not like them. It could be worse. I'll figure it out eventually. Those aren't thoughts. They're sedatives. Your mind uses them to reduce the pain of knowing you're underperforming your own potential. And here's what should make you angry. Nobody forced this on you. No enemy did this. No system did this alone. You participated. Every time you chose distraction over discipline, every time you waited instead of acting, every time you told yourself tomorrow. That's why the anger feels confusing. It doesn't have a clear target. Because the target is uncomfortably close. You. Most people never confront this. They spend their entire lives fighting symptoms, lack of motivation, lack of confidence, lack of clarity. But the root is simpler and uglier. They stopped respecting themselves. Self-respect doesn't come from affirmations. It comes from keeping promises when it's inconvenient. And once you break enough promises to yourself, your identity fractures. You become two people. The one who thinks and the one who acts. And they don't trust each other. That internal split is torture. It creates constant mental noise, restlessness, irritation, low-grade anxiety that never goes away. So you look for relief, not solutions. Relief. That's where addictions sneak in. Not always substances. Sometimes habits. Sometimes people. Sometimes endless consumption of self-improvement that never turns into action. You tell yourself you're working on yourself. But deep down, you know you're stalling. And stalling feels safe. Because action carries risk. Action exposes you. Action removes excuses. As long as you don't try, you can pretend the outcome is still undecided. This is one of the most dangerous psychological traps. Potential as protection. As long as you believe you could do more, you don't have to face the possibility that you won't. So you keep potential untouched, clean, untested, and slowly, potential turns into regret. Here's the part nobody likes to hear. Your future self is watching you right now and judging you. Not harshly, not emotionally, clinically. Every year you delay, that future version of you becomes more bitter, more tired, less forgiving, and one day, they stop expecting anything from you. That's the moment people describe as losing their spark. The spark didn't disappear. It gave up on you. You don't need more information. You don't need more clarity. You don't need more motivation. You need friction. You need consequences for inaction. You need discomfort that you don't escape from. You need to feel the weight of wasted time without numbing it. Because pain that is felt turns into fuel. Pain that is avoided turns into decay. Look around. Most people you see aren't lazy. They're exhausted from carrying a life they never chose. They wake up already tired, not physically, existentially. And the scariest part? They defend it. They mock ambition. They shame discipline. They ridicule anyone who refuses to settle. Not because they're evil, because your refusal reminds them of their surrender. If you stay where you are long enough, you'll do the same. You'll attack what you secretly admire. You'll call it unrealistic. You'll call it toxic. You'll call it obsession. Anything but calling it what it really is. A mirror you don't want to look into. So here's a question that should make your chest tight. If someone followed your daily habits exactly, would you respect the person they become? Not their intentions, not their thoughts, their actions. Because your habits are votes, and you're voting for a future version of yourself every single day. Right now, your vote is split. That's why you feel unstable. One part of you wants more, another part wants comfort. And comfort has been winning. Not because it's stronger, but because it's always available. Discipline requires you to choose it. Comfort just waits for you to get tired. And you always get tired when you avoid what matters. That's the loop. Avoid to feel guilty, to seek comfort, to lose energy, to avoid more. Break the loop, and everything changes. Stay in it, and nothing does. This is where people expect encouragement. Motivational words. A gentle push. You don't need that. You need to understand something brutal. No one is coming to interrupt this pattern for you. There's no moment where life grabs you and says, "Enough. Time to change." Life lets you drift. And drifting feels peaceful until you realize you've gone nowhere. So if you're still listening, still uncomfortable, still tense, good. That means you haven't fully numbed yourself yet. Use that, not tomorrow. Not after one more video. Not after one more plan. Do one thing that scares you because it requires consistency. One action that, if repeated daily, would force you to become someone else. And don't announce it. Don't post it. Don't romanticize it. Just do it. Quietly. Relentlessly. Because the most dangerous lie you can tell yourself is, "I still have time." You don't know that. No one does. What you do know is this. Every day you hesitate, you're training yourself to hesitate again. And one day, hesitation becomes your personality. that's when it's truly too late. You don't need another warning after this, because from this point on, ignorance is gone. If you walk away unchanged, it won't be because you didn't know. It will be because you chose not to act. And that choice has consequences your brain doesn't like to imagine. Here's the final truth most people never face. Your life will not collapse. It will fade. You won't hit rock bottom. You'll settle onto a soft, tolerable floor. Bills paid, dreams delayed, energy gone. And you'll call it stability. That's how the trap closes, quietly. No dramatic failure. Just a slow replacement of ambition with routine. One day you'll realize you don't hate your life enough to change it. And you don't love yourself enough to demand more. That middle space is where people disappear. You won't remember when you stopped trying. There's no clear moment. Just a series of decisions you didn't fight hard enough against. Skipping the hard thing. Choosing the easy thing. Telling yourself it doesn't matter this time. But it always mattered. Every time you backed down, you taught your nervous system that resistance works. And your brain learned, if I apply discomfort, they quit. So now even small challenges feel heavy. Even discipline feels exhausting. Even effort feels unfair. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. You trained yourself to escape pressure. And life is pressure. Which means, at some point, life will win. Not aggressively, indifferently. It will move on without you. Others will build, advance, accumulate skill, leverage, confidence. And you'll watch. You'll say things like, they got lucky, they had help, they're obsessed. But the real difference is simpler. They acted when you hesitated, and hesitation compounds faster than effort ever will. This is the part where your chest tightens, because you know exactly what you've been avoiding. That thing you keep postponing, that's not random. That's the axis your life turns on. And every day you delay it, your future narrows. Options disappear, energy drops, risk tolerance shrinks. Until one day, you won't even recognize the version of yourself that once wanted more. That's the real death, not physical, psychological. When desire shuts down because it hurts too much to want. If you think that can't happen to you, that belief alone puts you on the list. Because it happens quietly. To smart people. To capable people. To people who once swore they'd never settle. The only people who escape this are the ones who move before they feel ready. Before confidence. Before clarity. Before permission. Because readiness is a myth comfort invented. So here's the final line, and don't skip past it. If you don't force change into your life, life will force stagnation onto you. And stagnation is permanent unless you break it violently, not emotionally, behaviorally. One action, done daily, whether you feel like it or not. That's it. No reinvention, no motivation speech, no identity shift, just proof. Because the moment you prove to yourself that you can act under resistance, everything else follows. And if you don't, then one day, this tension you feel right now will be replaced with numb acceptance. And that's when it's over. This is the last moment where discomfort is useful. After this, it turns into regret. Choose accordingly. If you close this and change nothing, this video just became evidence against you.